Hello everyone, you're welcome to Eye on Port, the program that has been dedicated to bring Ghana's ports and maritime industry closer to you. Eye on Port is proudly brought to you by the Ghana Revenue Authority, Goyle PLC, Serene Insurance, Ghana Link, the Meridian Port Services, and Phoenix Insurance. This program is powered by the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, and our media partner is the Business and Financial Times. Viewers, this week we are coming back to the subject of the sustainable management of our blue economy. And our main discussion this week touched extensively on relying on a science-based ocean management approach for Ghana. But before we delve into this main discussion, let us pick a few related stories. These come from the Blue Economy Conference that was organized by the students' body of the Regional Maritime University in Accra last week. The students' body of the Regional Maritime University is among the latest group calling for increased focus on the growth of Ghana's blue economy. Last week, the Students' Representative Council of the Regional Maritime University held a Blue Economy Conference on the theme, Employment in the Blue Industry, a Catalyst for Economic Growth, exploring the roles of stakeholders, government, and academia for this cause. Addressing his audience, the president of the SRC, Alex Abayate, doubled up on calls for the acquisition of a training vessel for the school.
We heard in the news, even from the current transport minister, that $152 million has been secured to a modernization project in Regional Maritime University, of which obtaining a training vessel is one of them. So we are praying and hoping that it comes in time, but then, that notwithstanding, we want it to come assiduously and with speed.
The monitoring manager at the port of Tema, Captain Ebenezer Gakpe, encouraged the RMU to expand its scope of training.
Though the university has an area of courses that the port has taken advantage of over the period, there are still untapped areas that the university can design programs to address. And I would like to give one example in this regard. For example, there's no program in the sub-region that trains vessel traffic operators. That is the VTMI station or the port control station, for example.
A Deputy Minister for Trade and Industry, Dr. Stephen Amoah, promised the students they have the ears of government for the development of the blue economy.
I can assure you that the things that you have spoken about, that government is supposed to probably upscale its performance, I'll do my best to push them in the area of government policy, specific policy. I haven't read it if it's there, and it has to be reviewed. I will push that.
On the sidelines of the Blue Economy Conference, the Deputy Director in charge of Planning, Monitoring and Evaluation at the Ghana Maritime Authority, Dr. Richard Latte, revealed that some significant progress has been made in the country's bid to implement the Cabotage law that was passed last year. The Cabotage law is designed to restrict a significant part of the maritime trade in Ghanaian waters to Ghanaians. The law will ensure that 50% of all officers and 75% of all ratings operating in Ghanaian waters are Ghanaians.
So far, we have documented procedures to inform stakeholders about the detailed implementation processes. We've also sent some of our staff to Nigeria to study the implementation, lessons learned or challenges by the Nigerian Maritime Administration and the safety agency to see what some of the challenges that they encountered when they started the implementation. So NIMASA started rolling out the Cabotage in 2003. So in Africa, they are one of the leading, or should I say the leading agencies in terms of cabotage.
He explained further the benefits of the cabotage regime to Ghanaians.
Cabotage means that we are restricting maritime trade to our locals. You can have the situation where foreign vessels are coming in, but they have to register under the cabotage regime. And so this one means that our graduates from the Maritime University will have the opportunity to work on board the vessels.
The official of the Ghana Maritime Authority also touched on the Go to Sea program that will be launched soon.
This is a program that we are launching very soon to educate and sensitize our SHS students and other accredited tertiary institutions on the need to see the seafarer career as a very good profession. And so we'll be going to a lot of schools, institutions, educate them, sensitize them on the prospects in the maritime industry. So that's what the program is all about.
All right, viewers, if you can remember, a couple of weeks ago, Ghana held its first national Blue Economy Summit, where we were privileged to attend and show you. During the conference, there was a running theme. The various speakers that spoke all made mention of letting science lead Ghana's ocean management. As a result, we at Iron Port this week decided to probe further, and we gathered a great panel of experts representing government, industry, and academia to tell us why it is absolutely necessary to rely on science for Ghana's ocean management.
I would just want to find out from Richter, first of all, whether you think that yes, calls for a science-based approach for the management of our marine or oceans or management is the way to go.
Everything about the ocean is science, and so you cannot manage the ocean without the science of it.
Right.
And I think it's one of the biggest challenges we face as a country, that we allow the policy to lead the science instead of the science leading the policy.
Okay.
And until we turn it around and make the science the basis for which we develop our policies, we may continue to hold a lot of talk shop and may not be able to do anything that would actually see us getting the full benefit, not just from the ocean space or the blue space, but many other things that we do. Science has been part of our management, it's been part of the generations before us. Except that now that we have people who have studied the science and have read books and appreciate it, we no longer value the science that we read in school. So you probably will have scientists advising somebody who is in a policy position, and the person will say, well, when I do this, I may not get a vote. So why would I do it? Because the first thing that drives the decision maker, the policy maker, is how much vote am I getting from your scientific advice? And that is not sustainability. That doesn't bring conservation. And that's why we have the kind of problems we face today. If we probably will listen to the science and allow the science to lead, we won't have the problems we are having. I just saw the Regional Maritime University students asking for training vessels. Yes. In fact, it's not just the Regional Maritime University. Prof. Nunu is here. None of our universities in Ghana have a research vessel. Yeah. And they require a research vessel to be able to do the things they were doing. And I always cite the example that you go to Rhode Island, the University of Rhode Island itself had a research vessel. The Rhode Island as a state has a research vessel. The other universities, like University of Massachusetts, all have their research vessel. The New England region has a research vessel. And they've been doing these decades on. And so they produce scientific reports that become the basis for decision making. Right. So when they say, for instance, that our stocks are breaking, they know what they mean, because they are able to do proper trend analysis of what has happened over the period of time. Now, our research vessel for the entire nation, I would say Kakadiamba, that belongs to the Fisheries Commission. Was sunk around 1999. Right. From then to today, we don't have a research vessel. If we are now talking about moving towards a blue economy, then I think the issue of science is bigger than waiting until the Norwegians would bring their vessel once in 4 years, in 3 years, even in a year, for us to get some scientific data. Right. We need to have our scientific data right on spot.
You, I can say or describe as a big player, as an active player and participant in this particular space, that's the ocean space. I just want to find out from you, what do you think accounts for the unfavorable, or so to speak, poor state of affairs when it comes to ocean management in our country?
Our society is set up that we've not studied enough of the ocean. But the science is doing its bit. the ocean is vast and has got quite a number of habitats. Right. There are mountains, there are valleys in the ocean. There are very dark areas. There are areas that are 20,000 meters or kilometers down. You know, the areas where they are very stable and calm. If you study the ocean, it's a wonderful place and a diversity of organisms. And you need various equipments, you know, subsea equipment. We need conductivity, temperature, and depth measurement, machines that can go to various, all these mountains and valleys within the ocean. Yes. So we need technology. And as a country, technology-wise, we're a bit lacking. So that also accounts for some of these things. Right. The ocean has got the physical part, it's got the chemical part. Right. The nutrient dynamics of the sea can change in seconds. You know, we have quite a number of minerals, ions, and things in the ocean. Right. We've got the biological part. Plankton, phytoplankton, zooplankton, tiny microscopic organisms that cannot be seen by others, right, by human eye. We've got the fish, the nectin. We've got the big ones, the pelagics on the surface. We have those, the demersals. We have those that are even benthic. We have those that are living in the sand. And we have the imprints of living things and occurrences on the sea in the deep fossils. Wow. That even creates the oil eventually over thousands and thousands of years. Yeah. And the fact that we have even oil found in Ghana means that our sea is very rich. Over the years, the fossilized remains of the skeletons and all that has led to all these things that we have. You know, so as a nation, this vast resource, a mixture of lack of technology, a mixture of our culture and other things, and then the unavailability of funds, resources, logistics. And my brother mentioned research vessel. In fact, if you go to other universities and other parts of the world, as he said, even a small university department has got a research vessel and all that. Yeah, we haven't got. Okay, our department, for instance, I'm representing academia, and we are the mother of all departments that have been, that have offshoot all the other departments studying oceanography and fisheries. Yes. We were established since 1988. In fact, by statute, 1962, and later started programs in 1988. Right. I started teaching in 1997. You know, so over the years, currently we have over 7 universities running oceanography, fisheries, water-related courses in this country. You know, and there's quite a lot of publications and things out there through individual efforts and through collaborations with international partners. But as a nation, we have put very little into research and these vast resources, because and another point is our over-reliance on the land. Right. And the land has got a huge impact on the ocean. So the land is, over time, overwhelming the oceans. Overwhelming the ocean. The impact on the ocean is becoming more and more. Then all these climate-related issues that we don't really understand very well. So there's really a need for a national investment into the ocean science. I remember way back in my early career, when I had my first lecture on a topic like this, an interfaculty lecture, I even postulated that we should have 1% of our GDP put aside for science as a nation, so that all the research institutions can be well-resourced with the facilities and things to demystify ocean science and other aquatic sciences in Ghana and beyond.
Are you still of the same conviction today?
I'm still of the same conviction today, even much more convicted than before.
Right. Let me come to Dr. Felix Adoyobo and find out from you if you can tell us a little more about the ocean governance study, you know, the progress that has been made so far, what the key findings have been, and the actions that are to be taken.
Yeah, let me start by saying that it was very strategic for us to start with the ocean governance study, and it ties in with what Professor said, that we do have all the policies. Implementation becomes a challenge. It's all around issues of governance, and so when we conceived the idea of coming up with a sustainable ocean plan, one of the first steps was to study the
institutional ecosystem, see who the players are, where the overlaps are, where the contradictions are, and then how we can resolve it. Because without a good institutional architecture, we will be planning to fail, for lack of better words. In scoping up what Ghana should do for the Sustainable Ocean Plan, which is still in the process, it's not done yet, we decided to add a sixth pillar. Globally, there are 5 pillars, but Ghana decided to add a sixth pillar, which is maritime security, because of the peculiar challenges we have. Globally, the pillars are ocean wealth, ocean health, ocean equity, ocean knowledge, which will deal with the science and research issues, and then ocean finance. And having touched on ocean finance, let me also respond to one of the comments that Prof made and my colleague made earlier on, bordering on the implementation of these policies. If you go through all the reports that agencies do submit, one of the first challenges they will tell you is financing. It's almost always one of the first challenges, why they are not achieving their targets, why they are underperforming. And so strategically, we have decided that as part of the Sustainable Ocean Plan, we will develop a financing framework which will look at how we can mobilize resources to support the implementation of the framework. We see that government obligations are many, and we cannot rely on government for the small submarine that Prof is talking about and all the beautiful things that we need. But if we are able to structure these things in such a way that private sector see them as an investment opportunity, then there is potential to attract private funding or private capital into this area. So critical to the Sustainable Ocean Plan would be a financing, a framework. Where do we get money to finance these activities? Who are the investors we need? How can we package the various needs within the space so that we present them as an investment opportunity? That is what would attract the private investor, not coming up to give us freebies. No, they want returns. And there are a lot of such potentials within the ocean space. So we will do that as part of the SOP arrangement. And then we will also have a monitoring and evaluation framework to make sure that consistently we are able to track progress of implementation. We are able to liaise with the researchers to generate the data to help us track the progress of implementation. And then, importantly, take steps to put in the necessary corrective measures as we implement. So it's not going to be cast in stone. It's going to be iterative. We'll revisit the plans, and then based on new knowledge, emerging issues, new technology, we will update the plans to suit.
So viewers, it's evident that government, industry and academia all recognize the need to allow science to lead, and we are hopeful that this becomes Ghana's story moving forward. Now let us pick a few comments on the subjects we have just discussed after we go on break, and then we'll be back with more news. This comes from Dal. He says, listening to Richster on the turf war that is likely to develop among the existing institutions for Ghana's blue economy, I beg to differ. This is to say that the Ghana Maritime Authority is a body mandated by law to regulate, monitor, and coordinate activities in the maritime environment. Exploitation, preservation and regeneration of the marine environment, which is regarded as the blue economy, and its relation to the SDGs are all covered under the IMO instruments and conventions, which GMA is the local implementer of such conventions. All that needs to be done is for GMA to up its game to push for laws covering the blue economy as related to the 17 SDGs. My name is Danny in Medina. I was impressed to hear Dr. Yobo say that a financing framework is part of the Sustainable Ocean Plan. I hope the commitment remains even if the current administration does not get an extended stay in government.
XP Ron 95 is designed to burn slowly and thus improves fuel economy, making you save money after several kilometers. Gold Super XP Ron 95 gives you a smooth driving experience, that is, less vibrations. Fill up with Gold Super XP Ron 95. Now there's no need to pay more for any higher grade fuel. Goil has that sorted. Goil, good energy.
Electricity, then pay your taxes. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is, you still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
Impressive factory. If only I had listened to you, I wouldn't have been in this mess. That devastating fire virtually wiped out the whole factory and my warehouse.
Remember my misfortunes last year? Serene Insurance Asset All Risk Fire policy that I took were there to pay for my damaged stocks in the warehouse, and my machines that were affected by the floods have been replaced. My accident vehicle is back on the road thanks to Serene Insurance motor policy. Currently, my goods are on the high seas, covered with their marine cargo insurance policy. I was just telling Ajima about Serene Insurance.
Oh, Ajima,
tell him more.
As a road contractor, I make sure I do my contractors all risk insurance for the projects and then workers' compensation for all the workers on site. With Serene Insurance, they will make sure they will cover your unknown tomorrow today.
Serene Insurance, a new face of insurance. Call us now.
MPS Terminal 3 is Africa's new state-of-the-art container terminal at Tema Port. For manufacturers, agro-processors and traders, the new port means business can be done faster. This infrastructure boost will improve Ghana's port handling capacity, connect more trading routes, and oil the engine of growth for the economy, creating greater opportunities across all sectors as Africa's markets merge and become the largest trading bloc globally. MPS, we connect, you thrive.
Business and life can be like the sea sometimes. Sometimes serene, sometimes calm, sometimes turbulent, and at times it brings the unexpected. However it is like, trust Phoenix Insurance for your home, car, business, and marine insurance needs. Call 0302 246 319 or 0243 690 492.
At Phoenix, you experience a delightful service delivered with wisdom.
Welcome back, viewers. Now let us pick a few stories from our local industry. The Ghana Revenue Authority has met with members of the Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders in Tema to educate them on new tax laws introduced this year. The Revenue Authority deemed it crucial to engage freight forwarders on the nuances of these tax laws due to the indispensable role the freight forwarders play as intermediaries between state actors and traders at the point of clearance of goods at the various ports of entry. They were sensitized on the 12.5% upfront VAT payment and the Growth and Sustainability Levy Act. The GRA, beginning June 6 of this year, began the imposition of 12.5% on the customs value of taxable goods at all ports of entry imported by persons who are required by law to register for VAT but haven't done so, in addition to import duties and taxes. A Chief Revenue Officer at the Community Night Taxpayer Center, Kwame Edukwache, emphasized that this is not a new tax, but a compliance tool.
The good thing about this compliance measure is if you register with us and you have paid already, you have an opportunity to recover the tax once you register for VAT. If you are not even supposed to pay the 12.5 because probably the commodity you have imported is a personal commodity, it's for personal use, it's not for sales, then you can apply for a waiver even before your container lands at the port for clearance.
A principal revenue officer at the Tema Community 1 Taxpayer Service Center, Stephen Bafo-Jeu, also revealed that the Growth and Sustainability Levy is a new tax aimed at shoring up government coffers for national development.
The levy is not operating as the upon VAT or the import, no, not at all. The levy is on your profit before tax. As I'm saying, so you project beginning of the year, let us by the time that the first payment is due. So if I have imported maybe in January or even have imported within the year, nobody will come and force me that pay your growth and sustainability. No. So it means that if I in the category A or C, if my profit before tax is nil, I made loss for the year, I don't pay any because it is on what? Profit, a percentage on that. So if the profit is negative, what am I supposed to pay? Nothing. You understand? Except for category B, that one, it's not dependent whether you have made profit or not. It is on your what? Gross production.
In line with the organization's dedication to continuous development, the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority is strategizing to improve the working conditions at the Tema Fishing Harbour. To this end, the authority has begun a decongestion exercise at the main canoe basin to sanitize the space and make room for potential future dredging of the facility. The exercise saw a number of broken canoes and unwanted structures around the canoe basin removed. Atlina Amoyal is the operations manager at the Tema Fishing Harbour.
In fact, GPHA has been wanting to take the measurement of the canoe basin because it's seen as the entrance to the fishing harbour for us to see if there's the need for us to do any dredging of the fishing harbour. But for some time now, it has been difficult because we have a lot of broken canoes in the sea and also some unwanted structures that are around the canoe basin.
The Marketing and Public Affairs Manager at the Tema Fishing Harbour, Isaac Tewia, also stated that this initiative feeds into the objective of the authority to create a safe and healthy environment for fishing activities at the harbour.
We have a lot of visitors coming from all over the world to the fishing harbour and by extension to the canoe basin. So we want to make sure that this place is sanitized and that we make sure that everything is in order.
It's time to take our attention to the global stage and pick a few international port and shipping related stories.
A new transport and environment study shows that toxic air pollutants from cruise ships around ports are higher than pre-pandemic levels, leading to increased air pollution in Europe's port cities. The study indicates that despite introducing the UN shipping body sulfur cap in 2020, Europe's 218 cruise ships emitted as much sulfur oxide as 1 billion cars last year. However, the study said that at the Port of Venice, air pollutant from cruise ships fell 80% following the city's ban on large cruise ships. T&E says this shows that it is possible to tackle air pollution, calling for greater electrification at ports in order to save lives. Thousands of dead fish have washed up on a Texas beach, leading authorities to urge beachgoers to steer clear. Officials with Quintana Beach Country Park urged swimmers to avoid the coast, citing high bacterial levels and the sharp fins of the dead fish. According to Texas Parks and Wildlife, the fish killed on the Gulf Coast beach, about 65 miles south of Houston, was a result of low dissolved oxygen levels in the water. The department said low oxygen levels are common in the summer when temperatures rise, making it so the fish can't breathe underwater.
Now to our Word of the Day segment, where we introduce words, phrases, jargons, terminologies that we often use in this industry so you can get familiar with them. Today we'll tell you what gang means when we say that in the port environment.
A gang is a term used to describe a group of stevedores or dock workers who work directly under a manager or supervisor. The main task of a gang is to help on the port side of the vessel at the dock during the loading and unloading of the cargo from the ship.
It's now time to take a look at the schedule of vessels that have berth in the port of Tema and Takoradi and at the anchorages of both ports, as well as those expected in the coming weeks, plus the Bank of Ghana exchange rates, which you may need to know to clear your cargo with. All right, this is where we close today's edition of Iron Port. We hope you've been informed and educated. Remember, all Iron Port content can be found on our YouTube channel, Iron Port. Please subscribe, like, and give us feedback. Thank you for watching.